Hi, and welcome to I'm Putting It Out There. I'm your host, Lisa Mack, and I am in the room with Miss Willow.
Yes, Willow Walker in the room with Willow Walker. Um, Lisa and I have a lot in common, very much similar backgrounds.
Yes,
And we have a lot to share with you guys. We've had a lot of challenges. We are both teenage mothers.
yes, and that is our topic tonight.
That is the topic, having a child
As a teenager.
as a teenager plus 30 years.
Yes.
So, and just the dynamic and that child and the children we had when we were a little bit older.
And how it's different when you raise the teenage child and then you have children later on in life. The comparison of how they see parenthood.
Right. Because when you're a teenager, you're an idiot.
Right. You're actually trying to grow at the
right.
same time. You're growing and maturing with your child. So.
Yeah. So you literally grow up together when you are a teenage mom. But that has brought me a lot of challenges, as well as you.
I had a lot of challenges.
We have discussed it.
Yes, I was 19 years old, about to turn 20 when I got pregnant. Didn't talk to the father of my oldest child for a very long time before I got pregnant. Basically, if I can remember, I think he was coming out of a relationship, and so was I. I was coming out of a relationship with my actual high school boyfriend, and ended up what they call hooking up, and
I don't
here
know
we
that
are.
term.
But we did date for over a year, and then I got pregnant, and life went on. He was 7 years older than I was. I was 19. He was 26. I think that's 7 years. Do the math. Anyway, he was out of school, matured. I was coming straight out of school. And, we had a baby to raise. So it was kind of a shocker to him at first. But he did stay around and he was supportive. But we did have our challenges, not only, I would say, for me, but also for him, So that was my story back then.
Well, I got pregnant at 18 from a man that was 13 years older than me. And well, she was born, I turned 19 in December and she was born in February. So I was barely 19. So I'm a kid. We're still kids.
We're still kids.
So I was married, 2 children, had a stepson, and divorced before my brain was fully developed.
Right. And what age did you divorce?
25.
Okay, 25. So you were 25, and I had a second child. Let me go back and let you know that the first child's dad, we did not stay together. So, of course, I met another man and we married, and I had another child with him 3 years after the first one. And that went pretty good. It made me feel more independent. I'm grown now, but
you were still
that was his first child, and that was my second child.
And
so
you're still very much a child at that.
Still. So now he is coming into being a stepfather at a young age because, like I said, I was turning 20 when I had my first one. So that means I'm turning, 23?
Right. Yeah. That's
still a baby, right?
Either your brain, scientific fact,
right,
is not fully developed until you're 25.
But we made it.
We did. We made it.
We are both. I've been divorced since then from my first husband and second baby daddy. And about you? You divorced?
I got a divorce to my first husband, and he didn't beat me. He didn't cheat on me. He was condescending. He referred to me as little girl, and consistently told me I didn't have any skills.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, now that I'm older, I look back on those days and I'm thinking that's not how a husband, we lift each other up.
Right.
We do not beat each other down. But I have learned through years and years of therapy that didn't have anything to do with me.
Right.
That was his issues.
And what we're coming to tonight, for those who were teenage parents and now that, they're up in age like we are and they're more matured, or the ones who are dealing with teenage pregnancy right now, or those that are young that are dealing with pregnancies, and you may think that the father is going to be there and he's not, or you may be a baby daddy who wants to be in your child's life even though you and the mother are not together. But we're here to talk about all of the challenges that you go through and the effects of once your children become grown from a teenage parent, how our challenges have been through the years with our children and how so much they relate to each other, even though we didn't know that we were going through the same thing at the same time.
Right.
But we can still relate as teenage parents of our challenges that we have with our grown children right now.
One thing I would just love for my oldest child to understand, we grew up together and we have a sibling dynamic, more than a mother-daughter dynamic. All of her friends' moms were a lot older than me, so I got compared to them, which isn't fair because women, how much a decade makes a woman grow.
Oh, yes.
What is your dynamic? How is your dynamic different from the child you had as a teenager compared to the child that you had in your mid-20s?
I would say my first child that I had at 19, as we grew, I guess to me it's different because I was raising a boy. So,
that is different.
A boy, single parent, me and the father, we're trying to make a relationship work, being in two different households. I was still living with my mother at the time. He was kind of in and out from his mom's house, but we did the best that we could.
Sure.
But as far as
we all do,
as the child now grown up into teenage, which I would say high school, you go through your challenges, whether it be male or female,
right, and no matter how old you are,
their school ages, but you're saying, okay, I've done the best I could. I've had sacrifices. I couldn't go hang out with my friends anymore.
You weren't
I had
perfect.
to make sure that what I call my first living human baby doll.
Your first
I
love.
have to now.
Your first love.
I have to now protect him. I have to make sure that he is good all the time.
You can't even take
no
care
scratches.
of yourself.
Yes, and you're sitting here wondering, how am I going to do this? For my case, I wasn't married, so I'm like, is his dad going to stay with me? What is he thinking? Because he wasn't expecting to have a child at that age, but like I said, we did the best that we could for the situation at hand. As far as my parents go, we say we're disappointed, but as an adult, I think because we want the best for our kids so much, you can't wait till they get out of high school and you want them to see their future that they've been dreaming about and everything. And I just want to put it out there to tell you that if you're a teenage parent, your life isn't over just because you get pregnant. It's how you handle it.
That is totally correct.
Okay? So when you say my life is over, and this goes for young men too, when a girl is pregnant, she says, hey, I'm pregnant, I don't know what to do. Don't sit back and say, well, I don't know what you gonna do, because guess what? She was not in that situation by herself.
It takes two to
make
tango.
The baby. So be mature about it and say, okay, let's see how we're gonna handle this.
Right.
And handle it together. You may have to say some things to your parents that they're not ready to hear from you, but at the end of the day, they will really realize, you know, my child is a little bit more mature at their young age than I thought they were. Right. And you be that matured person. My mom didn't have to take care of my child and me. She didn't have to babysit. I did it. I took the sacrifice and made sure that, you know what? Hey, friends, I want to go hang out with y'all, but I got a baby at home.
Right. And
so,
not that they didn't go to my parents' house, because he was in a band, my ex-husband.
Right.
So we played in a lot of gigs. But it was twice a month, you know? Like once a month the kids would go to his house, his parents' house. Once a month they go to my parents' house.
Well, no, what I'm not talking about the visitation. I'm talking about these teenagers who leave their kids on their parents.
Oh, yeah.
That was not us.
No, it was not.
You know, I think my son, until I had my second child, was the only grandchild in our family. So, of course, everybody wanted the grandbaby, you know. And it kind of relieved me, but I still didn't put my responsibility on my parents or, you know, my boyfriend,
and
his dad's parents.
Single parents for a very long time.
I made it a business of mine to say that the only reason that you will have to, and that's not really a have to deal in there because it's still their choice as a parent, is for me to work, for me to show you I'm taking ownership.
Right, responsibility even
of
though I'm
what
a
I
teenager.
have done.
Yes.
And I just need the support from you so that I can continue to succeed and be established and have a well-rounded place for my child to grow as well now.
Now, may I tell you about the dynamic with me and my oldest child? I don't think she's ever liked me. I really don't. Sometimes I wonder if she even loves me. I don't think she likes the way I dress. I don't think she likes the way I look. And I could be wrong. But, you know, she has a lot of resentment for me leaving her dad. But she doesn't understand. She was 12. Now she's 33.
Okay.
And she has so much resentment. Now she's always kept a wall up, you know, always kept a wall up. Never wanted to let loose and have fun with me. But she policed me on, I remember, policed me on how many beers I drank, how many, you know, and maybe that was just because she was worried. Because I did spend time in jail, you know. I mean, a long time ago, you know, but when my dad died, I got addicted to anxiety medication. It was very painful, you know, the two most painful, my dad passing and my oldest child was on life support for 3 weeks at 18. And
that's a lot to take in for a young person.
Yes, it was very difficult, and I did not leave her bedside 24/7 except maybe once or twice because I was in school at this time doing prerequisites. So once or twice I left that hospital. But the worst feeling in the world is when the doctor tells you you don't think your kid is going to survive. I
couldn't imagine.
When she woke up finally, I spoke to her and she acted like she wouldn't talk to me. And then I called the nurse in and the nurse started talking to her and said, "You understand me, right?" And she responded to the nurse, but she wouldn't respond to me at 18. I mean, it's like she has always just put up this wall Now, when she's never let me into her life.
So I can't relate to that as far as, the things that you went through at that age, and having to cope with the loss of your father, having to cope with not knowing what to expect with your child being in a hospital.
Being a single mother.
And being a single mother. But I can say this, at 33, have y'all ever tried to have the conversation?
About a year ago, I triggered her, because things weren't always easy when she was a kid. But I conquered the addiction, went to school, graduated as an occupational therapist.
Right.
I mean, and she lived with me. She saw me fight. About a year ago, I triggered her somehow, and she is just livid. Now, she says I cross boundaries, and let me just tell you guys, boundaries and control are not the same thing. You have to have good communication skills to set healthy boundaries, and yes. I encourage everybody to do yes. that. But controlling, letting somebody else do something and you can't do something, that isn't a boundary. That's control. Yes. And just please, anyone listening, learn the difference, because those communication skills are vital for yes. the rest of your life.
Yes.
So I have asked her to go to therapy with me several mm-hmm. times throughout the last year. She just outright refuses. She unfriended me on Facebook. I can't even call her. Now, she tells everybody she's not keeping me away from her child. Now, I did see her child on Saturday, but if I can't get in touch with you,
right?
I mean, and she said she blocked me for her own mental health.
Well, and you laugh, but she could be very well thinking that way, because if you think, okay, she is an adult now, even though she's 33, age does not guarantee maturity.
Absolutely.
So you have to realize that, I had to learn it at an early age that what we saw that we were going through, our parents didn't understand it, right?
No.
All they were they were either ashamed that you got pregnant at a young age, and now you're embarrassing the family because you're not even married to your baby daddy. How many more kids are you going to have? What are you doing? You're spiraling out of control because you're trying to raise a child and you're still trying to be a teenage young adult, right? So now you're in that position. So you have to remember what you went through. Even though she went through it with you, she wasn't understanding what she was going through.
I think the main thing she doesn't understand and never has is it's not me and her against each other. It's the devil. It's me and her against the devil. And that's what I wish for her. That's what I pray for her.
And you constantly have to keep praying, because let me say this, we both are very spiritual, but not everything that we go through is the devil. You have to have tests in order to have testimony. It's how she handles it. And she may not be handling it or receiving what you're saying at the time that you want her to. But you keep pushing because you've been there. And how many of us, I know y'all that are watching, we all can say, well, mama don't know what's going on. Daddy don't know what's going on. They don't understand us.
We do.
We do understand you.
We've been there. We were your age, yes.
But unless you have those conversations as you're going along, I always told my friends, they would say, you don't hide anything from your kids. And I say, why not? I rather my kids know the struggle that it was as a teenage parent for me to have successful children right now versus keeping everything from you. And you think that mom was just the perfect mom and dad was just the perfect dad when we were young.
Human, just like
and now you've created this image in your mind because you try to hide all of the challenges that you're going through from them because you want them to have a good life as well as much as you can give it to them. So for me, by me experiencing and having conversations with my kids growing up, they can kind of understand it now that they are parents. But before they became parents,
right,
it was like, why is she always trying to tell me what to do?
When she had the baby, first-time parents, we don't know what to do. At least first-time parents, we have a bunch of baby books, right? There's no baby books for first-time grandparents. So I'm just trying to love my child and my grandchild. First of all and foremost, the two most important people in my life. My first love was my firstborn, and my second love was my secondborn. Okay? My third one is my husband that I have now.
Okay.
But, your children are a part of you.
They're a part of you till you leave this earth.
Yes. And I just don't understand why she holds so much resentment. I have begged her to come to therapy with me. She will not talk about me. She won't even let me come to her house unless her husband's there because she doesn't want to confront.
But let me explain something to you. And like I said, my situation with my son, mainly my oldest son, was not that, because he also was a teenage parent.
Yeah.
So, that generational, people say it's a generational curse. No, it's not.
No.
It's not a curse.
I don't believe in
I don't think that
curses.
any baby that comes into the world is cursed. They're here for a reason, so I don't say that. I just think that what he saw and what he was growing up with, as he got older, like we say, we're growing together. So if I'm talking to, hey, mom, mom was a young teenager, so I can tell you what not to do, but you're still going to experience what you're going to do. Same thing we did.
The lessons,
right? So that's the lesson
right.
learned. So I want to go back to you and say, not going to therapy with you is not a bad thing, because it's not her therapy. It's your therapy.
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're absolutely
right.
And
in time, once she realizes, because she's a new parent, just like you were, and she's learning in her own way.
Correct.
She will come around, because some of those parent skills, she's going to say, well, I wonder what mama did when she was young with me, having to go through this. And it doesn't mean that just because you were 17 when you had her and she's 33 now, she's still going to go through the same thing, because I don't care when you have a child, the dynamics, the originality of raising children still come the same. What do I do when the baby just won't stop crying at night? I could call my mama, but I'm holding a grudge against her, so I can't call her. Right. So now I got to deal with this by myself if she doesn't have someone else. And eventually, you keep reaching out to her, because she's going to break.
I was. I tried every approach under the sun. Everything. Well, first I was just angry because there was a lot of things that were said that shouldn't have been.
Right.
But we're human, and when you get angry,
she's just not ready to let hers go yet.
I think the minute that she does address it, she's gonna have to look at her issues, and it's hard. It's painful.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. Me and my son had I would say a distance relationship for a while. I didn't know why he wasn't talking to me. I wouldn't say I was strict on him because he got pregnant. I would say I wanted him to do the things for his girlfriend / baby mama at the time that I was hoping his father did for me. So, I had to go to the doctor's appointments by myself. When I was pregnant with him. So when his girlfriend got pregnant, I made him go with her to the doctor's appointments. And I think in doing that, it made him appreciate her pregnancy, because it kind of like included him. It's not like, oh, you're pregnant and I got 9 months to do what I want while you sit here and go through this pain and, discomfort and nausea and all that. And then I'll meet you at the birthing room when it's time to have the baby. But it brought them closer because he got to see every step of the way.
Right.
If she was sick and they were still in school.
And it's a miracle.
So guess what?
Yeah.
When she got sick and she had to stay from school, he got sick and had to stay from school to go take care of her.
Right.
And they weren't living in the same house. She was still with her mom. I was with, he was with me. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen in my case. His father didn't experience the things that I went to, being sick at home in my mom's house, and being able to go to doctor's appointments with me. So that in itself was a difference. Mm-hmm. And then he asked me one time, why wasn't my dad in my life? I couldn't answer that. I all I could tell him was, I never kept your dad away from you.
Right.
And his dad lived right down the street from us.
Well, I actually, 6 months after my divorce, I rented the house right across the street from our family home. So our children would have both parents.
Right.
Every day.
Right.
And that worked out for, I don't remember, so long ago, but I'd say, good 5 years. Right. And then he moved to Mississippi. So I moved to, just a better area. Right. And just went on with my life. I guess what I am doing now, because I did try every approach, and about 6 months ago, it wasn't easy, Lisa.
I know it wasn't.
But I surrendered it to Jesus.
Well, there you go.
I surrendered it to God. Give it to God and go to sleep.
So, since you gave it to God.
I haven't acted. I did leave her a birthday card. I have a very sarcastic sense of humor. Her birthday was February 11th, and I got to go over the Saturday before to see the
Look at God. Look
Amen.
at God.
Amen.
Look at
Hallelujah.
God.
And I actually had some very pleasant, short conversations with my daughter. And what she doesn't realize is I miss her more. I mean, she's my daughter. Yeah, I love my grandbaby. It's a different love.
Yes, it is.
My daughter was my very first true love. The very first person I loved more than myself. I was a child.
Yes.
I'm 52 years old now.
Yes.
So that's
you understand.
So, well, she says things like, well, you didn't treat me this way. Well, every grandparent, no, it's a different love. You don't have to raise these children. You don't have to teach these children. These are the children you get to play with, and she really thinks that I love the grandbaby more. And I love my children more than anybody.
But she's not understanding it. And I can say it is even a difference. You heard I have 2 kids that are 3 years apart, but I have 3 kids. My oldest is 10 years older than my youngest. So I had my youngest child at 30 years old. And boy, did that make a difference, because I was married then, I was more matured and settled into my career then.
Right.
I wasn't hopping all over the place. I wasn't thinking that I was missing stuff with my friends. So they have these conversations of how I raised my oldest son to how I raised my youngest son. They're like, he'll say sometimes, you just let him get away with anything. You just was like, I was like, well, I tell you what.
First baby.
It wasn't that I let my youngest son get away with everything.
You just knew you didn't have to do it.
Well, I would tell them, if the youngest one is in the house watching everything that you have to do and how I'm responding to you, he should be learning something. If I say, hey, how many times do I have to tell you take that trash out, and you passing right by the trash and you still don't do it? by the time the youngest one get to that age, he already knows if I don't take that trash out, mama's going to get on me. I done heard it repetitively over and over by the older ones, right? So I would have to explain to him, I don't have to tell the younger one and be as hard on him on teaching him just simple household responsibilities because he's watching. And that's what, you have to understand. I have 9 grandkids, y'all.
Oh,
guess what? I'm 52 years old as well. But when I tell you, I am a grandmother, I am not the mother of my grandchildren. I watch my grandchildren when I'm available, and they don't argue about it. And sometimes I have to call them and say, hey, when y'all bringing my grandkids over here?
Right.
So I would say being a teenage parent, even though times are different for the younger generation now because they have so much access to stuff that we didn't have.
Way more resources.
That it is a challenge, but you can get through your challenges.
Oh, yes.
As long as you stay focused, like you said, give it to God.
Give it to God.
And it will come around. As I was telling y'all once before, I didn't always have the perfect relationship with my son. And now it's like I have to respect where he is as an adult. And he also has to respect me as mother. I told him, do not call me Lisa, call me mom. Because if you don't call me mom, then guess what your kids are going to do? They're going to call me Lisa because that's what they hear you saying.
Right.
And it kind of takes the respect off of who we are.
Right. And that brings up such a good point because the disrespect that I have been shown, I am the mother, you know, and I have a mother.
Yes.
And she and I, we have gone through lots of challenges. But you know what? That's my mom.
That's your mom.
That's my mom. My mom has been in the hospital for 2.5 months. She's doing great now. But I was by her, working a full-time job. I mean, right by her side. Now she's teaching me piano again.
Okay, you see how that works around?
Yes, I know.
Because I don't care how old you get, you're 52 years old, but to your mom, you're still her baby girl.
Absolutely.
You're still her baby girl.
And my daughter, you're still my baby girl. And she's not my friend on Facebook, but we have about 213 mutual friends. So if any of you guys would like to help a mama out, share the live feed, please, because I want my baby back. I want my daughter back. I want my daughter back. I miss my daughter.
Well, we all are going to keep praying for you. I'm so glad that we were able to do this interview with you so that you could get some things off your chest.
I appreciate it.
And also that hopefully that we help someone else tonight. But just be encouraged to any teenage parent that's out there that's going through, your challenges right now. Just know that you're not by yourself.
Persevere.
There are people out here that will help you. The main thing about is do your best.
Do your best.
Don't put your responsibility on anyone else.
Do your best.
Don't be
Forgive
afraid
yourself.
to ask for assistance when you need it.
That's right.
Because the resources are out there for the young people right now. And I'm not just talking about teenagers. I'm talking about these young parents who just don't know how to balance life between having a child at home with nobody to help you to go to work. I mean, I worked in a school system, so I saw it all the time. I don't know what to do with my child. Can you help me? We're all parents. They always told us it took a village to raise children. It takes more than just a village now. It takes a country.
It really does.
To raise children now.
The way prices are and everything.
Exactly. So I hope this encourages someone tonight. You have anything you want to say?
I love you, Devin. I miss you.
Hi, Devin. I don't know you, but I can miss you too.
That's right. This is my girl, Lisa.
So I just want you all to know, be encouraged, be inspired by us sharing our life as teenage parents with you now into adulthood. It's never easy, no matter what age you are. And just, just always be encouraged to help someone. If you see a young teenager, give them the encouragement they need, because they may not be getting it from anywhere.
And that's why we were put here. We were put on this earth to help other people. So go out and empower somebody today.
Yes.
Oh, and let's just share.
Be yourself for one. Be yourself.
You know what? I don't know if you guys can see
it. We want to get out the way so that y'all can see it.
Stay strong. Be fearless. Be happy. Enjoy life. Stay positive. Look up. Believe in you. Stay strong. Enjoy life. Success. Be yourself. Dream big.
Dream big. There's a lot of young kids today that don't even have a dream. So y'all make sure that you ask these kids. You don't have to be their parent or anything. When you just see kids hanging out sometimes that probably is trying to get into something that they shouldn't be, tell them, hey, y'all are at teenage years. What do y'all want to be when you grow up? And you'll be surprised at some of the things that they say. So always, no matter what you do, no matter what you do, no matter what I do, we got to be ourselves first.
You got to be yourself.
You got to know yourself.
You got to figure out who you are. And that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of work. But it's so worth it on the other side.
It sure is. So thank you. I am Lisa Mack. I'm putting it out there. And
in this room with Willow Walker.
Y'all come like our pages, follow us, and subscribe to our channel.
We have so much more coming for you guys.
Yes.
We're going to have the hard conversations.
Oh, yes. We're going to put it out there, and we're going to Willow walk it. How y'all like that?
And in this room, everybody matters. Everybody has a voice. Everybody is loved.
Yes.
And everybody is respected.
Yes. So until then, you all take care. You be safe out there and be blessed. And good night.
Good night. So I think I was saying likes and